Something dangerous is beginning to unfold across the United States this Mother's Day weekend, and forecasters are growing increasingly concerned tonight. From explosive severe thunderstorms to destructive wind damage, giant hail, flash flooding, and even tornado potential, millions of Americans are waking up directly in the path of a rapidly intensifying weather pattern. It is Saturday, May 9th, 2026, the second Saturday of May, and while many families are preparing for Mother's Day celebrations, the atmosphere has other plans. A volatile clash of warm Gulf moisture, strengthening instability, and powerful upper-level energy is setting the stage for a high-impact severe weather event stretching from Texas and Oklahoma all the way into parts of the Midwest and Gulf Coast. Some storms this weekend could turn dangerous very quickly, especially during the late afternoon and evening hours when the atmosphere becomes primed for explosive development. We're talking damaging winds over 70 miles per hour, baseball-size hail, torrential rainfall, and isolated tornadoes capable of spinning up with little warning. In this video, we're going to break down the exact areas under the highest threat, track the timing of the strongest storms, analyze the flood risk, and look ahead at a major pattern shift that could bring even more heat and storm chances into late May and early June. So stay tuned, because there is a lot happening in the atmosphere right now. Taking a look at the upper atmosphere, the overall setup continues to favor active and potentially dangerous weather across the nation's midsection. A stubborn trough remains locked over Ontario and the Great Lakes near Lake Superior, while a massive ridge of high pressure dominates the western United States. That ridge is pumping dry air, sunshine, and unseasonably warm temperatures into the west, but directly between those two systems sits the battleground zone. And that is where severe weather is expected to erupt throughout Mother's Day weekend. Storm development is expected to intensify later this afternoon and evening across western and central Oklahoma into northwestern Texas. Areas including Oklahoma City, El Reno, Elk City, Lawton, Fort Sill, and Wichita Falls are all under the threat zone for scattered severe thunderstorms capable of producing damaging winds and very large hail. Meanwhile, isolated severe storms are also possible farther north toward Wyoming and portions of the Great Lakes, while additional thunderstorm activity stretches eastward toward New Jersey and down along the Gulf Coast. But the main concern tonight and tomorrow remains focused on the southern plains. The threat becomes even more serious on Mother's Day itself. North Texas, including Dallas-Fort Worth, Abilene, and San Angelo, has now been placed under an enhanced Level 3 out of 5 severe weather risk. That means numerous severe thunderstorms are expected, and some could become intense. This may not just be a late-day event either. Storms could already be ongoing Sunday morning, before rapidly strengthening through the afternoon as instability surges across the Red River Valley and southern plains. The atmosphere will be loaded with fuel. The deeper the reds and purples on the instability maps, the more explosive energy storms will have access to. And by Sunday afternoon, that energy becomes extremely concentrated across Oklahoma and Texas. As storms tap into that environment, conditions will become favorable for widespread severe weather. Large hail, destructive straight-line winds, torrential rainfall, and isolated tornadoes are all possible. Radar simulations show multiple rounds of thunderstorms developing over the next 24 to 48 hours. Along the Gulf Coast, heavy tropical downpours and storms could produce wind gusts exceeding 60 miles per hour. But farther inland, the concern escalates significantly. By Saturday evening, powerful storms are expected to erupt across Kansas and Oklahoma with the potential for large hail and isolated tornadoes. Then, during the overnight hours into early Sunday morning, clusters of storms may continue rolling through parts of Oklahoma, Kansas, and northern Texas. The real concern comes later Sunday afternoon and evening. Outflow boundaries left behind from morning storms could act as a trigger zone for explosive redevelopment. Storms are expected to rapidly intensify east of Amarillo through Oklahoma City and then expand toward North Texas. By late Sunday afternoon, severe thunderstorms may begin organizing west of the Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex before racing eastward into the evening hours. Families preparing outdoor cookouts and Mother's Day gatherings may suddenly find themselves under severe thunderstorm or tornado warnings. A dangerous line of storms could stretch from near Texarkana and Tyler all the way west toward San Angelo, bringing widespread, damaging wind gusts, giant hail, torrential rainfall, and isolated spin-up tornadoes. Some of these wind gusts may exceed 70 miles per hour along the leading edge of the storms, strong enough to down trees, damage roofs, and knock out power. Millions of people across Texas and Oklahoma will need multiple ways to receive severe weather alerts Sunday afternoon and Sunday night. Flooding rainfall is also becoming a major concern. Along the Gulf Coast, areas from New Orleans to Gulfport, Mobile, Panama City, and Florida's Big Bend could see torrential downpours capable of producing flash flooding in low-lying areas. While some of this rainfall is desperately needed due to ongoing dry conditions, the atmosphere may dump over an inch or two of rain in a very short period of time. Southern Louisiana and coastal Mississippi remain under a slight risk for excessive rainfall and localized flooding. Then on Sunday, the flood threat shifts farther north and west toward the Dallas-Fort Worth area and the Arc-La-Tex region. Cities including Texarkana, Shreveport, and Monroe could see repeated thunderstorms capable of producing rapid rainfall accumulation and isolated flash flooding. Looking ahead into next week, the overall weather pattern across North America begins to shift. The western ridge strengthens and pushes farther eastward, allowing warmer air to spread deeper into the plains and eventually toward the Midwest and East Coast. Meanwhile, the cooler trough over the northeast gradually weakens. Early next week may start relatively quiet for many areas, but moisture is expected to increase again later in the week across the nation's midsection. Monday looks fairly calm overall, although scattered showers and isolated storms may linger along the southeast coast. By Tuesday, another weather system crossing the Midwest could trigger additional showers and thunderstorms from Iowa into Wisconsin, northern Illinois, Michigan, and Minnesota. That system then slides eastward into the Ohio Valley and northeast by Wednesday. Most of the plains and Rockies turn drier midweek under strengthening high pressure, while another Pacific system begins approaching the west coast. Later next week, additional scattered storm chances may redevelop across parts of the Midwest, Ohio Valley, and Northeast. No widespread, all-day washout is expected, but several rounds of showers and storms could continue through next weekend. The greatest severe weather potential through mid-May still appears focused on Oklahoma, Texas, and parts of the Gulf Coast, though forecasters are not currently expecting a major tornado outbreak. If you're spending time outdoors this Mother's Day weekend, conditions will vary dramatically across the country. Gusty winds continue across parts of Minnesota, Wisconsin, Wyoming, and New Mexico, while calmer conditions dominate much of the Deep South and Gulf Coast. By Sunday, the strongest winds shift into West Texas and the Texas Panhandle as the storm system intensifies. Breezy conditions will also continue across southern Canada and portions of the northern Rockies heading into Monday. Temperature-wise, the contrast across the country is striking. Cooler than normal air remains locked across southern Canada and the Northeast, while intense warmth builds across the western United States and southern plains. West Texas could surge well into the 90s, while parts of the Northeast struggle to escape the 50s. A frost and freeze risk also remains possible across portions of the Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin, northern Iowa, and Michigan. Gardeners across the upper Midwest may need to protect sensitive plants from potentially damaging overnight cold. By early next week, the heat begins spreading farther east. Temperatures could soar across the plains between May 13th and May 15th, potentially bringing the first significant heat wave of the season to portions of the central United States. Meanwhile, the desert Southwest may push toward triple digits, with some record highs possible through Mother's Day weekend. As we head deeper into late May and eventually early June, the long-range pattern continues, showing signs of expanding warmth across much of the country. The ridge of high pressure gradually shifts eastward, allowing summer-like temperatures to spread into the Ohio Valley, Tennessee Valley, and Mid-Atlantic. At the same time, moisture levels are expected to increase across the nation's midsection, especially near the Corn Belt and Mississippi Valley. Cities like Chicago, St. Louis, Kansas City, Green Bay, and Dallas could all see increasing storm opportunities later in May. However, drier than normal conditions may continue across parts of the Southeast and Pacific Northwest, raising additional drought concerns in some regions. Early June currently shows no overwhelming signal for widespread severe weather outbreaks, but the Midwest and Mississippi Valley may become the primary corridor for repeated rainfall and thunderstorm activity. Forecasters will continue monitoring whether Gulf moisture can surge farther north as summer-like heat expands eastward. If that happens, storm chances could become more active entering June. So this Mother's Day weekend, stay weather aware, especially if you live anywhere across Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas, or the Gulf Coast. Conditions could deteriorate rapidly during the afternoon and evening hours, and some storms may become severe with little warning. Make sure you have multiple ways to receive weather alerts, especially overnight, and keep checking back for updates as this evolving severe weather setup continues to unfold. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this forecast helpful, be sure to like the video, share it with friends and family, and subscribe for daily weather coverage across the United States, southern Canada, and the tropics throughout hurricane season. Stay safe out there, and have a wonderful rest of your Mother's Day weekend.